traders, and yes, this is what I look like by Friday. I promise I'll clean up. Anyway, I wanted to talk initially about Broadcom, which was kind of the last big hope for the semis. And I would call it a NVIDIA 2.0 because these were the earnings, and by the end of the day in the aftermarkets, they killed it. This is a pretty serious breakdown. I'd be very careful with Broadcom. Maybe we even have a reversal week. Yes, we do. In fact, it's a key reversal week. So I can't see this helping out the semiconductor complex. So we'll take a look at that too. I think that there's a shot for 280. Okay, so that's another $100 or so from here. So let's get to some of the other markets. I do want to talk about TLT because when I was on the air the other day, we were trading above the breakout, and it was just one candle. So I want to share another rule that I have. It was right here. Pretty negative week again in TLT. Fed didn't save it. Starting to diverge a little bit. But when I'm in options, unlike futures where you have to have a stop in, I believe it, okay, because you have unlimited risk. But in options, you have limited risk. So what you have to do is wait for a close. So we never closed above it. Okay, we closed back underneath it, and here we go. We have followed through. 10-year also on the verge of an important breakout. They're trying to turn it back from 420. I think we are going to have a breakout over 420 that could lead towards 445 or so. That means there's more left on the downside in probably the bond market too. So yields look higher to me. I want to also touch upon how long have I been talking about 98 in the Dixie? A long time. Now, just because it got there and it got to about 98.13, it's got to do some work. All right. Where we start getting some divergences. The other day I talked about next Friday, it's BOJ. I think that's going to be a turning point in a lot of the different markets. So maybe the dollar has to do a few more retests. I don't think we should close under 97. There are some fibs under 98 at 97.60, 97.80. But I've already put my toe in the water on a few different currencies. One of them was the pound, because the pound you could see it really was a divergence, a little bit over 70, but compared to the euro, look at this reading. So I went with cable, because even if your euro makes a new high up here, I'd add to the pound position if we say had a bounce, some type of retracement rally while the euro's making the new high. I like the short side of the pound here. I'm still holding the shorts in Aussie. Perhaps risk off is going to help this position. They were never able to make new highs. And here's the end. I may be looking for some type of buying opportunity next week. I still think that there's a chance that we rally back up towards the highs here and diverge. So that could happen now in the daily if we made a new high because of this little sell-off that we had this week. We had a good week. We caught a long US dollar yen move for total of 170, 180 pips. And then after the Fed, there was a buy that was good for 40. You'd still be alive. It was at 55.60. We got down to 55.10. So if you held that, that's great. And look, we were short Dixie from par, looking for 98. Maybe you held some of those. I'd be looking to, cover some up here. Maybe there's another 50 points or so in it. But this is going to be a very key test for the dollar and the whole board. And everyone is all in on the debasement trade. All you have to do is look at the metals. Some other commodities are moving too, but it's my contention. I think we're going to put in a higher low above this low and then eventually take out this double top. So we're in the zone now, traders, for looking to be contrarians now. It's not contrarian to be bearish a dollar. I could say that much. So maybe we'll even get some type of low in Canada here. Um, Although there are better opportunities. I think it's Cable and Aussie for right now. So I'm starting to trade it. Remember, always take partials. And let's move on to Bitcoin. You have to be really disappointed being long Bitcoin with the rips that we saw in the markets. Still looks like a bear flag to me. Can it, you know, keep grinding higher? Yes, but my bet is with the confirmed low that Bitcoin has not bottomed and that we're going to take out this 80,000 level in the days and weeks ahead. We could quickly talk about silver. If you're in the room today, I did a scalp from 64.35, worked for out of, I have break even stops now at 35 and took 20 and then 40 cents out of it. I know one of these days it's going to unwind pretty big. Maybe it's next week. A dollar turn, and the euphoria in silver is like Bitcoin used to be. So be careful because we're starting to get close on some of these indicators. I said we're diverging in the gold silver ratio, and it was really a huge breakdown that generated it. So, the gold silver ratio doesn't let you down. But, maybe we could rally back to the breakdown or prior lows at 77. I think that would create a pretty good break in the metals and maybe buying opportunities in silver then. So I'd wait for a rally in the gold silver ratio to add to any silver holdings. Um, Crude, I believe, did make new lows here. So we should be, no, not quite. We still have to clean out the 56 level. This turned into a nothing burger. So just because crude's going to make a new low, we have to pay attention to this as well. I think that there could be a nice long setting up. I'd like to see him clean out even these lows at 54.28 to set up a low for I think oil's going to come back to life in 2026. Nat gas has had a huge pullback. Gosh, I don't know what to say about that. That's a weekly. Are we just going to watch the new lows in nat gas? Now it feels like a widowmaker. Down here, it wasn't a widowmaker; it was a widower maker. But now, this volatility, I just have to stand aside. Also want to congratulate people. Someone asked me about the marijuana ETF. President Trump came out and talked about reclassifying again, and they have opened sharply higher. The question was MSOS. So here we are, we're up 30% today. And there's your gap. So I remember I said it has, I'd like to see it reclaim four. I didn't expect it to gap over 450. So, if you're holding into the end of the year or you're not on, let's see what it does. If it tries to even fill this gap, it's still talk. It hasn't been reclassified yet, but Merry Christmas, cannabis owners, uh, cannabis stock owners. And last week when I was on Maggie's show, someone asked me about Micron. Okay. And, because of my bias in semis, and I think this was Friday, I said I would get out or sell short. We made a new high in Micron too. It did confirm, but we're also lower on the week here. Well, I know what I wanted to show you was the semiconductor weekly, and then after that we could wrap it. Mags, I still think they're rounding out a top down week, either that or a third drive. but I wanted to show you a weekly, which is no one's talking about this. Down the socks, and then we'll wrap it here. Okay, so here's the socks. All right, so we're getting a reversal week, but what's the key thing? I'll leave you guys with a question. What makes me even more bearish after seeing this week's action in semiconductors? And I'll admit, after this break, I wasn't looking for new highs. I was selling fib retracements, right? But look what we have here. And then look what we have here. It's the first non-confirmation on the weekly. The last high was confirmed. This high is not confirmed. So maybe this is drive two and we get some kind of break, and then maybe drive three sometime next year. Anyway, that's not a good looking week in the semiconductors. And I know everyone's real bullish on market, and we almost made new all-time highs in the S&Ps, but stock Pacific, things I was negative on, didn't hurt me on a week like this. In fact, went my way. The other one was Uber. And, I just wanted to show you that Uber still is acting pretty bad. And you got to sell rallies in this as well. So where are we? Here we go. Down 30 cents. Look at this week. Okay. It rallied, to above this breakdown, just like TLT did. And this would have had you out. Okay. But you have to re-enter. If you're going to get out, you have to re-enter. And this doesn't look too good to me either. 82.50. I think we're headed towards 70 handles. Uber, I've been stalking this. Look how long it took for this top to develop. All the way through here was diverging. So, I have some pretty serious downside targets if it wants to get going. On the weekly, we're trying to hold the 50 week, and the 200 week comes in under 60. So I'll leave you with that cheery thought that Uber has some problems. A lot of women are afraid to take them, so they're trying to have female drivers for women. And anyway, it was just a chart that got me negative. And once we took out 90, it's going to be pretty hard to recapture it without making much more downside progress. So that's a week. I hope that my calls, I hope you caught the yen early in the week and some of the other things. I'm starting to, build positions for a dollar low, and I think that's what could upset the debasement trade. Is the dollar digging in its heels between here and say 97 and a half. You could be wrong under the low of the move, and we'll see how this shapes up. You have about 20 pips in cable if you want to take it. Not a reversal week, but definitely a decent little sell-off that we had in the last day and a half. Getting back under this 33 and a half level would be pretty negative. And remember, this was the pivot 2.5. So and look at these moving averages. So under 2.5 is going to measure 30 and a half. Okay, that's going to be 200 pips. And eventually, I think we'll take out 130. So that's a wrap. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See everyone Monday. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to drop into our room and just show it to you here. So this is where we're posting our stuff. Here's, you can see I was kind of active this morning. This is where you get the silver trade I took, and the Aussie short still alive, TLT put still working. There was the silver sale, and it was just a scalp. But I'm going to keep trying scalps in the precious metals, especially as a dollar bottoms in here and begins to resume for one more move up towards 102, 103. So everyone have a great weekend. and we'll see you on Monday. Want to thank Jose for all the help he gives Mike and me to do these broadcasts. So don't forget to thank the people behind the camera that make it possible as well. Adios, everyone.